Go ahead and fire away whenever you guys are ready.
Hey, Coach, we just learned Darius Johnson's going to be the AAC Freshman of the Week. Just kind of talk about that award and honor and what kind of growth you've seen of him this season.
Well, it's a big honor. We have a really good conference, and you have a lot of talented players, a lot of talented freshmen. So to be awarded that is something that's significant. So I'm really happy for him and happy for his teammates because you don't get those honors without the guys around you. And he's been playing very well for us.
How would you describe his basketball IQ, his study of the game?
He has a high basketball IQ. He's been brought up in the game. His father's been working with him since I can remember. So he has a really good understanding of the game. He loves watching tape. He loves learning more about it, trying to improve. And I think it shows up on the floor. His decision making, time and score wise, he does a good job. He has a feel for when to do certain things on the floor, and that just comes from the experiences he's shared over the years, as well as the tutelage he's gotten from his coaches and his dad.
You coach your son here. Have you noticed anything about their relationship with Darius now at UCF?
Oh, definitely. It's always a great relationship. I love to see the father-son combination. I was fortunate enough to have one with mine, and I'm happy for him to be able to enjoy watching his son's growth here at UCF. His dad is like any dad, is very proud of him. Want to see him be very successful, but he makes sure he pushes them and keeps him moving in the right direction, which is what you have to have.
I spotted BJ here at practice having a discussion a couple minutes ago with Darius. I know you've kind of compared the two before, just after seeing Darius in action over the last few weeks. I mean, what are some of the similarities and maybe some differences between BJ and Darius?
Well, I think one, they're both extremely competitive, and that's a good quality to have. They both have a good understanding of the game. Both of them are scoring point guards, which means, if you need baskets, they can get you that. Not only can they facilitate and make guys better, but they're very accomplished at finding their teammates when they have to as well. And so there are a lot of similarities.
You've been talking a lot about wanting to see 40 minutes from your guys. What more can you and your coaching staff do to get them to play that 40 minutes?
Well, we have to keep teaching, and we have to keep, talking to them about it. We keep showing them on film where we have lulls. It's just a process. You have to keep working at it. Because I know they're capable, like all teams are, but we have to find a way to get them there. And the only way I've ever seen that happen is to keep teaching, keep talking to them, keep showing them on film, keep drilling it in practice until it becomes our habit.
What do you think leads to those lulls?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's individual lulls or it's kind of a collective. Our guys kind of just settle into the game and maybe play at the pace that the other team is playing, and that's not who we are. We're at our best when we're playing full court, where we're getting up and down. And in years past, we would have played that way. That's not our system anymore. And so our guys may be adjusting to that. The fact that we can't pace ourselves. You have to max out every time you're on the floor, and that's something that's new. And but we're getting it. I think we're going to get better as the season continues to progress.
Travel to Wichita State. They haven't won a conference game yet, but that's a tough place to play, right?
Oh, very tough place to play. One of the best environments in our conference. I mean, they have a great crowd, knowledgeable crowd. They'll come out in full force, and so we already know it's going to be a very competitive game, and we're going to have to be really locked in and ready for it.
Obviously, this team can be a great three-point shooting team. Three-point shooting got you back in some of these games you maybe otherwise you wouldn't have won. But is there sometimes a fine line between becoming too reliant on threes at times?
Well, what we don't want to rely on is to keep trying to have comebacks. Yeah. That's what we don't want to rely on. We want to make sure that we establish ourselves early in the game and we're there like we want to be. It's good to know that we can come back. It's just not something you want to make a habit of. But the three-point shot, definitely, that's helped us in a number of games. We have some really good shooters. They're very confident. And when it starts to go in for those guys, it starts to go in a lot. And that's what you've seen, I think, in the last few games.
Back to Wichita State, a week or so ago, you played in Tampa, a team that hadn't won a conference game, and they came out with a lot of energy. What is the risk, the danger you see from a team that is scrappy like that in Wichita State that hasn't won a game yet?
That's exactly what you said. They're going to come out with a lot of energy. This league, like I said, every coach, every player in this conference, they have a lot of pride in what they do. And so I already know they're going to come out with a lot of passion, a lot of desire to compete, a lot of desire to win. And we have to match that, if not exceed it, to be successful up there. And so we understand that. I think it was a good learning experience versus USF. I think our guys will grow from that experience moving forward, and it's something that we can carry forward going into our next opponent.
I think you said the other night that it might have been the best game from Mbake for you guys this season. Just after looking at the film again, what did you like about his performance?
You know what? I thought he played a complete game. I thought he did everything. You're talking about offensively, defensively. Defensively, he had a tough matchup. Cross is very good. He's having one of the best years that he's had, for Tulane. He's really improved his stats, maybe up a most improved player in our conference. He's played that well. I thought Mbake did a really good job defensively. Offensively, I thought he was really good in the low post for us. Gave us a nice presence down there, scoring the ball, and then on the boards, both offensively and defensively, especially offensively. I mean, he was outstanding, and of course, he's always going to block shots. So he did a great job. I think if you look at the stat sheet, I like to see guys when you look at the stat sheet, they pretty much have things across the board. He really stuffed the stat sheet, versus Tulane, and that's what I like to see.
You have a top 10 team, Houston, coming to town next Saturday. Is that you're not worried about your team looking ahead?
Oh no. We're just focused right now, on our next opponent, which is Wichita State. We can't afford to be looking past, any team. Like I said, everybody's good, and we have to make sure we're ready to compete.
Wichita's coming off a layoff. We're not really sure what their lineup's going to look like. It'll be full strength or not. But just assuming everyone's back for Wichita, what kind of stands out about their lineup? What do you guys think
just a tough, gritty basketball team. Typical Wichita State basketball. Just going to compete. Tenacious defensively. Outstanding rebounding team. Offensively and defensively really hit the boards hard. And they have outstanding players. Ishion is one of the best players in our conference. I think he was Player of the Year last year in our conference. So you're going to play against one of the best guards in our league and one of the best competitors. So Dennis has been there a number of years with them, has had success as well. And so you're looking at a team that's experienced and a team that's talented, and that's what we expect to see.
Back on Darius Johnson, what type of leader are you seeing him emerge on your team?
He's really starting to emerge. I'm starting to hear his voice more in the locker room, and that's not typical for a freshman, which says a lot about him, because he understands. He's very competitive, and he brings that passion to not only on this floor, but into the locker room as well. And I think that's been good for our team's overall growth.
What was that like for you coming into Duke and kind of establishing yourself as a leader? Did that take some time for you? Did you kind of feel like you stepped into that role your first year? Or did it kind of take a year or two?
Well, I had to step into that role offensively for sure, just to add more firepower. As far as my voice, it took me a couple years to find my voice and to use that. We had some upperclassmen that were ahead of me that were pretty good leaders as well. So it took a little bit of time. But in DJ's case, he's done an amazing job, and I think largely because the older players have embraced him. Like you can't do that if you're not getting buy-in from the rest of the team, buy-in from your upperclassmen. And upperclassmen guys like Darius Perry, guys like Brandon Mahan, guys like DG, they're secure in who they are, so they don't mind him, sharing information or speaking up on situations, because they understand leadership ultimately is plural, and anybody can have something good to say that can add to the team and program, and DJ's been willing to do that.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys. Thank you. I appreciate that, guys.
Take care.